and see what's going to go down the next few moments. Pro Blood map number 1 for Honmono, map number 4 for NightPhoenix, winning 3 in a row so far. Trying to keep his streak alive. The first King of the Hill of 2023, by the way. Game. Let's do this. In the bottom left-hand side, we're going to have ourselves the red Terran player on mono. Top right, yellow Frost player, hot-headed gaming, is NightPhoenix. Been seeing Honmono more regular recently? Yeah. It's definitely someone we've been seeing play in a few tournaments, right? I mean, obviously we covered him in the OSC Championship and stuff as well, so we have been seeing him a little bit here and there. Been kind of cool. As our probe of NightPhoenix begins to come across to the bottom left-hand side of the map, so away we go with that. Get that started. Probe nibbles, SCV taking some shots, but the probe taking just as much as another SCV pulled off the line to play the protection game. Protected its buddy. And these SCVs continue to chase that little probe around. But the moment the probe gets pushed away, without too much further drama. Screen comes out, probe will go down. This is going to be our expansion then coming up. CC, obviously in the main base of N4 factory to follow up from here as well. That's just where things are on the Terran side of the map. On the Pro side, our Cybercore just finished. We get the first Adept started and we're waiting to see what sort of tech we'll see out of the Cybercore. Obviously we're thinking Stargate, we're thinking potentially Twilight Council. A few different possibilities here as to what could happen, so keep our eyes on that, see what we can get. Again, Adept just chrono boosting out. Just gonna see this Adept gonna go moving down to the other side. And a couple SCVs gonna go down to the Zealots already across. Denied the bunker building, denied the command center building for a little bit, so having a good time of it right now. Actually getting off to a reasonable start. Zealot will go down, but now the Adepts here will get rid of one Marine, and we'll jump into the bunker now, so that is pretty much going to be the end of this. But no, bad little go of things. Trying to get something done early. Gonna see these couple Marines still trying to go after the Adept, which does get rid of the SCV building the command center one more time. Again, just slowing this down as much as possible. Not going to survive, not going to shade out of here. It's a bit too greedy to try to stick around, really, but that's okay. That was kind of bound to happen at some point. These Marines will continue to chase the Adept around, and pushing it around the bottom, it is going to shade back out over to the front. You can see our simulator coming up on the natural expansion. This one Adept going back home. All said and done, 29 probes, 23 SCVs, the kind of way you want it to be. I think this was okay then for NightPhoenix, right? Because he slowed Honmono down early. He kind of put a bit of a hit on his economy. He definitely slowed down his expansion from coming online. It cost you a few early units. You know, you've got this Oracle up to kind of keep you, safe with scouting and safe with information. So it's going to be very nice as well as we move across over the other side. Away we go. Hey, what's up, Ascalon? How you doing? Thank you so much for 3 years of resubscribing. Thank you so much for 3 years of support. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Hey guys, the score at the bottom is just how many maps in a row NightPhoenix has won in the King of the Hill. Obviously, everything is just a best of 1, so we just have it say 0-0 there all the time. So instead of that, we're just going to track how many wins the current player on a streak is at Let people know, tune in. It's like, whoa, this guy's doing really well, even if they don't necessarily immediately know it's specifically against this guy. And hopefully they pick it up when they realize it's King of the Hill and stuff. Wouldn't mind. That was a sick play, man. We used the Widow Mine to hit the SCV, which allows the Oracle to one-shot a whole bunch of them. So actually, using the Widow Mine against the Terran player, NightPhoenix going in with some style points. Wow. You don't see that one every day, I tell you that much. You do not see that one every day, as this Observer is going to begin to make its way out across to the other side of the map. Damn. Robobay coming online then, just going to be seen again for Phoenix, the Oracle. All leading the charge. Observer is going to set up overhead. Phoenix gonna get a Widow Mine, but we do lose a Phoenix, which obviously isn't great. Typically, Phoenix, the kind of thing you want to keep alive as best and as long as possible, so losing those is a bit of a shame. And try for a few more SCVs with some low health ones, so you lift them up, they easily go down, they just go down so quickly, which again is always nice. Again, it's going to be Marine Tank pushing forward through the middle of the map and to the upper side, try and get something going here. It's a big push. We have seen NightPhoenix having to defend stuff like this from Baby Marine earlier. He tries to get in early. He finishes off that first siege tank. That's important, but having to go back for it was bad because now he loses a Stalker. Now he loses an Immortal. I don't think NightPhoenix is going to be able to survive this, guys. This is looking pretty rough. He's going to have a Disruptor, but it's going to have to pop out and come around a bit of a different direction. We're going to lose all of the Phoenix. And this attack, I mean, I honestly think that NightPhoenix is doing the right thing, but if you don't get the tank, if you mess up, just let it, let it be. Because going back in lost him a lot of additional units. He didn't play around his defenses then at all with units that actually really mattered. And just like that, it's going to be, yeah, on mono just a little bit too powerful. This push going to be a bit too good. That Disruptor does go down, so the tank was good enough to finish that off. Mono will break the streak of NightPhoenix, getting a map for himself in the King of the Hill today. NightPhoenix's streak will end at 3. Not a bad start for 2023 King of the Hills. So there you go. Alright, guys. So, up next, it looks as though it's probably going to be ForJumy just logged in. That's my guess. Whoever just logs in on my friends list is probably the next player, Not necessarily accurate, but I'll try. Yep, it is going to be ForJumy. We'll get that ready to go in a moment or two, and we can see even more TVP. It's the way, I mean, maybe that's the thing. Every time there's a possible TVP, we're just going to get TVP today, and that's just going to force certain things to keep on happening. Yep, probably. On Mono says he has no idea what the map pool is right now. Always a good sign. But you love to hear from your players playing in the tournament. Jeremy is going to make anything he wants, apparently. That's what Honmono says. Pick what you wish. So that will be what happens. What's the best race for this map pool and patch? Apparently the maps are pretty bad for Protoss. I honestly haven't really seen the maps enough myself to make a judgment. I think, honestly, the patch was very minimal. I think in the end the patch was not really... I think the patch will change things. I don't think it really shifts balance. I think it just makes certain matchups work a bit differently. I'm not sure if there's really going to be much of a balance shift. I think the maps are going to be a little bit better for... I feel the maps are going to be a little bit better for Zerg overall, maybe. Some of them I think can be pretty good for Terran. It's just figuring out how that actually is going to work. Basically, we're going to have to wait till Katowice, right? Because at Katowice, we're going to see what everyone's kind of been working on and holding back. Before Katowice, we are not going to get to see a whole bunch because people are going to want to keep the tricks up the sleeves. It's like that year that Zest lost to Rogue in the finals, and, you know, he brought the Glaives. A few people were working on, like, Glaive to Depth builds, and we didn't really see it before Katowice. Then at Katowice was not only all we saw, but then we saw that Zest was able to make the best Glaive Adept build. You know, his Adept build was hitting like 10-15 seconds early. I remember Harscom telling me about this. He's like, yeah, you know, me and Mana were at Team Liquid boot camp, and we were training, we were practicing. I'm like, man, we found something really sick. This Adept build's really good. It's like, you know, we hit it with 8 Adepts, it's like 447. It's like, it feels unstoppable. We get to Katowice, and Zest is doing our build, but he's hitting with 8 Adepts at 427. He's just knocked 20 seconds off the build order. Me and Mana, we've been working on this build for weeks, and Zest just found a way to be even more efficient with it. It was something along those lines, at least. It was kind of funny. So, yeah, Katowice is where we're going to see everything come into play, and we're going to figure all that stuff out, which will be very fun. Exciting times. Map 6 of the day. Again, 6 of 15. Coming up, we're going to get hosted onto Babylon. So, Babylon in a moment or two. And let's start up and ready to roll. Alright. ForJumy and Honmono about to go into some PvT. Get this up and running. Ellie. Ellie. Get out from my desk. You don't need to be under there, do you? No. Doesn't matter if you wag your tail. It doesn't matter if you wag your tail. You're not meant to be under the desk. That's right. Go the other way. Alright guys, let's jump on in. As we have got ourselves in the top left, the challenger in the orange is going to be ForJumy. Taking on the red Terran in the bottom right hand side from Prep Esports. This is Honmono. CC in the main base going to be mined by SCVs, but guess what, guys? We're going to build a barracks at the front. Whoa, what? No way. Yeah. Crazy, isn't it? See some crazy things in these games, I'll tell you that much. Probe coming down the left-hand side, going to head a bit more toward the center. And just scouting around, was checking a little bit for proxies initially, so ForJumy trying to be pretty safe in the early stages. Probe comes up, and SCV will begin to fight back against the probes. Just going to go with that. We'll be having our depot dropping down. Nexus on the way, orbital command on the way. The SCVs coming together, and the probe will continue to take some shots. Going around, SCV drops a little bit of a tag. A little spray. And have our probe push back in the end, so. It's gonna shove that away. It's gonna be seeing our probe just out of here. And probe actually stuck around for a moment or two longer. Is gonna end up and pushed away again. ForJumy drops the hashtag. Kill the bird. He was attacking the bird. I did think he nibbled at something. Yeah, why? Why ForJumy? Foster? Okay, these guys just having fun, gonna discuss birds and stuff. But yeah, the birds not really having much of an effect. We are gonna see the Stargate opening on the side of ForJumy, so Stargate on the way, and the factory and a second rack's coming down the side of Honmono, so everything looking pretty regular across the board in that regard. Couple extra racks just coming through, and yeah, just straight at 3 racks basically after the factory, so you'll have that supporting tech of the factory initially. But you will be on through racks of bio production pretty quickly as well, so that's going to be how we set things up as the factory swaps onto the reactor, and these few Marines are falling back so that they can defend from the Adept just from a little bit of a safer place. We're just going to be following on from there for a little while. As the Adept going to send in a little bit of a shade. Oracle, Warp Gate, all coming through. I'm just going to see this Oracle popping out. We'll begin to move across the map. Let's see what this can do then. We have built some Hellions, as the single Adept here is going to get pushed back by the Marines and the Hellion. But this means the Oracle can avoid those units and then maybe get across and into some position to deal some good damage. So let's see how that is going to pan out. It kind of stopped for a moment or two. I would have liked it to have just kept going because you know, or you knew the other units were kind of into the middle of the map, so it feels like you could have just kind of, you know, taken advantage of that a little bit. That's a very cute stasis ward blocking the barracks for a little while. Of course, it's an SCV. It just slows down the taking of that reactor by a few seconds, but then an SCV gets caught in that stasis that wouldn't have got caught otherwise, perhaps, so cute little play for ForJumy just trying to cause disruption. Robo on the follow-up to his Oracle, so that's just going to go pretty safe behind this. Maybe into Phoenix Colossus even, right? You know, you get an Immortal and then you go Robo Bay at the same time. Just kind of work forward from there would be a somewhat expected way for things to go, I imagine. Well, a few Hellions all the way down the bottom. Oracle Phoenix combo. I'd love to get in and do something. 0 kills on these guys so far, but Marines will get a bit done. The Hellions will try and stay hidden away, so make their arrival a bit of a surprise. There's the Robo Bay as expected from ForJumy on the way up. The Nexus will go down on the 3rd location. And these few Hellions will first slip up the one side. Oh my goodness, they slip back down the other. Wouldn't have been bad for these Hellions to get caught in the stasis, honestly, because just setting off that stasis might save some of your units later on from getting caught. And I feel like, again, if you Hellions caught that aren't really doing much right now, they've actually just turned out better. They got found anyways, so now they're actually going to get hunted by the air units, and we lose one of the 3. And of course, they're becoming less and less effective. Yeah. This is no longer a push, right? I mean, this is just such a serious delay. I mean, we're pulling the SCV, so it kind of has to be a push. Such a serious delay. I'm not sure this is going to work at all for Honmono. Another Stasis Ward setting up as well to try and slow him down further along the pathway he's most likely to take through the center here than out the other side. And we've got to wait for the tanks, the SCVs waiting as well. Yeah, like I say, just really not great. Would have been amazing if the Hellions had set that off instead. Now the Hellions at least set up this next Stasis Ward, so that is some good news at the very least. Marines, tanks, and SCVs still pulling across over to the left. Marines pressing forward, just going to be seeing a couple of tanks setting up, a couple of Marines getting some damage out, Phoenix taking some hits. And Oracle is taking some shots as well. Phoenix will go try to get rid of this siege tank, and oh, one Phoenix goes down. We're going to finally get rid of the tank. 2 tanks start to set up. Combat shield about to be done. Marines do have stim. They have Colossus here though. Just the one initially. The tanks hitting it, but it's getting healed by a battery, so maybe not that big of a deal. The Phoenix now lifting up one of the tanks. Take out the equation. Here's a second Colossus. Maybe ForJumy could have waited for the second Colossus at first, but maybe it doesn't matter right now. The tanks are not getting the kills here. The super battery now active, making sure these Colossi do not die. And now we push forward. All the Marines are gone, and ForJumy is going to come out of this one on top. Up 10 workers and up a base. ForJumy is looking very good to take this one down. It's going to clean up this missile turret that was built. And yes, I mean, up in workers, just up in every way pretty much. He is down an upgrade. But yeah, I mean, I feel like you're far enough ahead with the economy and everything that the rest doesn't really matter too much. I wouldn't mind. We'll wander forward on its own accord. It's going to begin to burrow out the front. And this Marine going to come along with that, wouldn't mind. Heading across to the left-hand side, away we go. Close, I get a Marine. A couple of Phoenix will come down as well. the far right gateway. Just going to be building up, getting a few additional zealots warping in. It's going to be having everything. All the ForJumy getting into position. Pressing forward, grabbing a marine. Bio just comes staring forward there, so able to get down, push away a little bit. I'm pretty decently just going to be seeing the Phoenix gathering up. Just going to go grab a marine. And a couple sentries, and the zealot will pushed around a bit here, and just going to be having our army of ForJumy just sitting waiting. I mean, he's very far ahead off of the earlier defense, and now it's just a case of him obviously fighting the fight. But as Honmono sits on only 2 bases, there's not really a point in fighting up into 2 bases. You may as well wait for him to take the 3rd and then you take the fight. I mean, maybe now, right? Nope, Medivacs, by the way, so this Bioforce is hurting. Obviously, we've been building Vikings as an answer to the Colossi, but yeah, this Bio Army, if it stims, it's going to be extremely low HP. It's going to melt splash damage. Does anyone know what happens if a build in SCV gets caught in a stasis? The SCV just stops building. It's like you just tell the SCV to stop building, you know? Like, the building still stays there, it just doesn't build for a while. Until the SCV comes out of stasis, and you'll have to command the SCV to stop building again. Nothing too exciting, really. It's the same as if you pull an SCV off a building for whatever reason, then you can go back to it later. A different SCV take over the building? Yeah, because the SCV doesn't get stuck building. The SCV essentially stops building for the process of, you know, for that to happen, right? So, yeah. Another SCV continue. You don't get stuck in the process of building. You just get the SCV stops building and then it's caught in the stasis, essentially. Or if you put another SCV to build it and the building finishes before the stasis. Well, yeah, because so basically it's like